Okay. Guys, welcome to Octopath Traveler. This isn't going to be a gameplay, this isn't going to be a playthrough, this is going to be just kind of a discussion about the game in general. This game is available on Nintendo Switch and also on PC. And yo, it is a fun game. If you are into maybe classic RPG or JRPGs, let's maybe be a little bit more specific. JRPGs, this is probably the type of game you'll like. If you enjoyed Final Fantasy VI, aside from the grinding, you know, because it's a JRPG, it's a grind fest, right? Aside from that, if you liked the storylines and stuff going on in Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy V, if you liked Chrono Trigger, you like that epic soundtrack, this is a good game for you. Okay, I mean, already we got in the background the soundtrack going. I'm going to be quiet just a little bit, and I'm going to turn up the game audio so you guys can hear it. Okay. It's a good game, trust me. And like I said, the problem that I have with JRPGs in general is usually they're grind fests. But if you can get past that, you usually get a huge storyline delivered to you, and it's 100% epic. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start a new game so you guys, so we can talk about that a little bit, and then I'm gonna jump over onto my ID where I'm a little bit further, and we can talk a little bit on that, and then we'll go ahead and move a little bit on with our night. So I gotta press the right button first. Okay, so once again, you actually get the choice of who you want your starting character to be. There are 8 starting characters, hence the name Octopath, right? You've got Ophelia here. She is kind of your cleric or whatever. She's a healer. Unlike other healers, she can actually heal the entire party to begin with. She doesn't have like a single heal. She is, well, if you go into each of their stories, it'll actually tell you a little bit about, like, you know, their quests or whatever. There is also Cyrus here. Cyrus is a scholar. He is kind of like a mage. His mage skills, he attacks all enemies. It's an all. It's not like a single. So it's a really cool thing to start out with. Then you've got, oh, here she is, Tressa. Tressa is a merchant. And here's something else that's really neat. Like Cyrus over here and Ophelia, they start out with a single weapon. Tressa and some of the others start out with 2 weapons. You can actually switch between, like for Tressa, it's a bow and a spear. It's really neat. And what we'll find out later on in the game is some enemies are weak to certain attacks, and you can break their defenses by using it, by using attacks against that certain weakness. So down here we have Berg, or Ulbrich. He's kind of your knight. He's actually, well, I guess, more of a mercenary. He's going to be fighting for revenge. I guess we should talk about it. Like, well, no, we won't talk about it. He's a mercenary. That's all you need to know. Forget if I said anything else. Let's see. Okay, so you've got Primrose here. Primrose is a dancer. She actually works in the nightclub, and she is the highlight of the nightclub. Yowza. And yeah, she is actually the daughter of a noble who was murdered right in front of her. So she's got some stories to tell as well. Next we've got Alphen, or Al. Alphen? Yeah, Alphen. That's what I was Alfonso for some reason. Alphen is, he's an apothecary, so he does healing, but he also has a pretty good handle of using an axe, which is nice. He was actually, on my playthrough, the second character that I got, and he is a very strong character to have, because you have a healer, and you have a really big damage dealer. Next up is Therion. Therion is the classic thief, and he can pick certain locks or certain chests. He is like Master Thief level. He's kind of an awesome dude. And Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what else to tell about him. He's a thief, right? He's looking for that next big score. He's looking for that big score to kind of end all scores. And then I think last of all is Hannah. Hannah is a hunter, and she and her guild or whatever hunt beasts, and they do it for money. And that's it. That's pretty much all of the different things. You get to choose each one of these, but it doesn't matter which one you choose to begin with. All of their chapter 1s. And while I don't know how many chapters there are, because I haven't gotten that far in the game yet, I am assuming there's probably 4 chapters per character. So 8 characters times 4. We're at 32 different chapters, and it sounds like there's like one big giant chapter to end them all. So, yay! So we're going to start with Arion. Let me talk about all of these. So Ophelia is going to be... she and her sister her sister is supposed to be a priestess that's going and carrying around a sacred flame to all the temples in the world, and her sister falls ill, and she ends up taking on that quest herself, and that's her whole purpose in this game. Her purpose is 100% different from Cyrus's. Cyrus's gets kicked out of his college that he's in, and now he has to go and he has to go out there, and he's searching for a lost book, and he's kind of gave himself a sabbatical. Tressa is trying to become the world's best merchant. That's about all you need to know. Cyrus is just trying to find a purpose in life. He ends up finding out about some stuff from his past and is kind of looking for revenge-ish type purposes. Next up we have Primrose. Primrose, again, her past kind of comes in to haunt her, and once again, everybody's storyline is completely independent. They do mix in the fact that you can use other characters, but that's it. So Primrose is very much the same. Her storyline carries her through finding out like one of the killers or potential killers of her family, and she wants to go after them. Alphonse, he's wanting to learn how to be pretty much the best apothecary that there ever was. He's just searching to find out new things. One of the kids in the town gets bit by a snake or an adder or something like that, and then he's just trying to do something with that. Therion hears about a really big score. Well, we're going to do Therion's, so we'll start his. We won't be finishing his opening intro chapter, but we'll go from there. So Hannett, her master goes away and tries to fight a beast, and he gets lost. Her whole goal is to go and find Orgohan. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click over here on Therion. We're going to go ahead and start. By the way, voice acting in this game is off the chain. Awesome. When they use it. I mean, sometimes it's not. So, forget I ever said that.
The usual.
As you like it.
Sorry if it sounds or if it looks like I'm enjoying the music on this. I truly am. I actually have the soundtrack to this. I listen to it on the way to work every day. I'm that much of a goober.
Really? What's he done this time?
Lifted everything off a merchant, leaving the goldsmithy. Guess he didn't get his fill at that fancy manor the other day. Still can't believe he made it past all those I'm sure the more the better for him.
They were more like decorations than actual guards.
Ain't no point swooning over someone else's work. Someday we'll make it as big as that thief, and then we'll be the talk of the town.
Yeah, you said it, partner.
Partners in crime, huh?
So let's turn this down again. So all throughout the game, you get a lot of, well, especially in Therion's line, you get a lot of backstory that goes along with it. And this is just one of the examples of that. He's talking about in the past, he actually was in jail, right? And, well, I mean, you guys can read this. It was 10 years ago, our paths crossed in a particularly dingy jail. I remember that meeting well. After all, it had quite the influence on my career.
Oi!
And?
So this is where they started, yeah, jail. They misspelled jail. This is where they start getting outside of the normal kind of voice acting, and they do a shortened thing. But after that, I mean, it's like for the big main scenes, they do it fully voice acted. Sounds great.
Ah.
So you won't last long in here with that foul-mouthed whelp.
Ha!
No? You seem to be doing just fine. Okay, without the risk of doing too many spoilers on the game, I'm actually going to skip this.
Huh?
I hope that's okay with you guys, but I don't want to spoil it, especially for the guys out there on YouTube. Hi, YouTube! I do not want to spoil this with you guys, so...
There you go. Beg pardon, would you happen to be after them Ravis's treasure? If you are, I suggest you think again. Heard another would-be fortune hunter was tossed in the dungeons yesterday.
So what's the count now?
A score? Maybe more? But House Ravis ain't known to be kind to those who covet their wealth. Still, poor thieves can't help but flock to that manor like moths to a flame. Suppose it's all those rumors of their riches that keep them coming. Some say it's enough to buy up the whole town and then some.
Just one town? What about the neighbors?
Can't say for sure. No one's ever seen the treasure. Even that master thief they keep talking about would have more than his hands full.
A perfect tale for the tavern.
Look, when you've been in the business long enough, you can tell things at a glance. You're a smart and skilled young man. Probably have a long career ahead of you. That's why I'll say it once more. Stay away from that manor.
Thanks for the advice. Next time, I'll have a tale of my own to tell.
All right. So they say that Ravis's manor, or the Ravis manors up at the top of the mountain, where only the richest of the rich live. All right. So now we actually get to explore, and this will probably be one of the last things we do before we actually jump a little bit ahead. We're not, like I said, we're not trying to do storyline here. But yes, so one of the really cool things that Therion has, well, hold on a second, I actually gotta run up the hill. Every single character has a special ability. and it comes in little ways. One of Therion's is going and being able to pick purple chests. You can see a purple chest back there. The other, we'll find out real soon. By the way, these podiums represent save spots. I guess I should probably read these. So, trying to scale the walls would be more trouble than it's worth.
Huh?
What's this now?
Listen.
What part of no visitors allowed do you not understand?
Exactly.
The Ravises have more important matters to attend to than entertaining riffraff like yourself. It won't take long, I swear. I'm merely a merchant, looking to... A merchant, you say? Prove it. Prove what? I came to show the lady of the house some of my finest fabrics in the realm.
And we're supposed to just take you at your word? If you can show us proof, you can show... If you can't show us proof, you can show yourself out.
But I...
Get out of here.
Fine, I'll leave, I swear. The nerve of these hoity-toity types. Like I said, lots of story in this game. Very well crafted. I'd expect nothing less from Square Enix. Let's see. Never thought that the front door would be the easiest way in. Time to get my hands on some proof. So now we get to explore Therion's secondary skill that he has. Once again, everybody has a skill geared towards them. Purple chests are just one of them. The big one that Therion has is what every thief should have. Pickpocketing. Okay, so here it actually tells you about them. Therion's skill is the pickpocket, or to steal, and we can steal items from our wonderful townspeople. We're going to do that right now. We're actually looking for a letter. We can steal from anybody who has a bubble over their head. So, congratulations. Free items. Hey, welcome, Dan. And so this is like one of the mechanics I really like about the game. Everybody has their own special skill. This just happens to be Therion's. Okay. Alphin's, he can talk to people and get them to reveal secrets. And actually, let's kind of back up just a little bit. There's only 4 big major skills in the game. Everybody kind of has their own version of it. Therion and Tressa both have the ability to pick off items. Tressa's, you buy them at a discounted rate. Therion's, you steal them. Cyrus, you glean information from your people, versus Alphin just talks to them. What is it? Ophelia and Primrose get people to follow them and fight for them in battle, and then Obrick and Hannet have kind of a challenge mode where you challenge the townspeople to battles and stuff like that. So, once again, this is probably one of the big mechanics of the game. It's one of the things I actually really like, aside from the music. You can see right well. Anyway. I don't want to go too much further into this because we are gonna get into actual main storyline, or at least a Therion's line, and we've pretty much discussed everything. So I'm gonna actually skip out here. We're gonna skip back to my account and or to the one that I've been playing for months now, and we're gonna see what it looks like for battles and whatnot. Play. As you can see, level 49. 64 hours clocked on the game so far, and I'm probably a little over halfway. I have completed everybody's chapter 2, and I have started doing chapter 3s for everyone. Once again, I kind of figured that there would be a total of 4 chapters, plus an ending kind of chapter, and maybe even a post-log. So, okay, let's go. So one of the really cool things that this game offers is when you're changing spots in your maps, especially on the overworld, it does an auto-save, like, between areas. And that's really nice for... Hold on a second, get me out of here. Come on. That's really nice for if you are trying to... Or if you go into an area that you're not well equipped for. It actually tells you, I don't know if you noticed it, down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, it actually showed what the recommended level was for the area that we were in. So I'm gonna run around and hopefully get into battle. You guys can see what that's like. Yeah. Okay.
Ready or not, here I come.
So let's talk a little bit about this. So as you can see here, we have our enemies, and you can see what they're actually vulnerable against. Now, each one of these has a shield with a number on it. That's kind of the level. What can I do? Okay. None of these guys are weak to this. So instead, we're going to use Holy Light on one of these guys. Hopefully it doesn't kill him. Excellent. So you can see here, it broke their defense, which means that any subsequent attacks that we do are going to do extra damage. Well, granted, this one would probably just kill him anyway. Also, something else, you have the ability to boost your attack. So right now I can hit him for 1, or I can boost, and I can hit him with double. So we can actually switch between our weapons. So if I wanted to use sword, I could do that. I can also use my dagger, or I can use my little mage wand thingy, whatever I actually have. I'm gonna go ahead and take out this guy. So double attack. This is actually a really bad example of how everything goes because everyone is so over leveled, but at least for this area. But it'll give you a good idea, and we can also discuss some of the bonuses that go along with this as well. Oh, I didn't actually kill him. This is actually quite impressive. Okay, so talking about boost, every time you don't use boost in a attack or in a round, you actually gain more. So Tressa and Ophelia, I didn't use their boosts. You look up underneath their names, you see little flashing yellow-orange dots. That's the number of boosts that we can get. So now we're going to use one of Therion's skills. Let's see. We need to... Well, we don't need to do anything with it. We're going to steal.
I appreciate it.
Really? There you go. And we heal. Tressa, we can now do an attack of 3. And then this poor little bastard in the back is sleeping. So... and... Alright, well that's...
The flame guides us true.
This is a... is this a Squeenix game because it plays a lot like Final Fantasy Opera? Yeah, right? It's exactly... It is a Squeenix game. Which means you know you're getting a pretty decent quality game. Okay. So, something else, and this is probably one of the coolest things that you get in this game. You have the ability to fast travel to any town you have already been in. Some of these I haven't, but like it'll tell you, hey, for Alphen Chapter 4, recommended level 45. For Oberic Chapter 4, we have level 45. For Therion, Chapter 3, level 36. We could actually... come on, menu, thank you. Oh shit, I'm in the way. Okay, well, I'm gonna go away for a little bit. Okay, so we have up here, we have world map, we have journal, inventory, a whole bunch of good stuff there. Here, let me turn this game sound down a little bit more. Okay, so a lot of this stuff should make sense as is. We got healing. We can basically have our characters that can heal do healing. This is a dumb moment, I know, and I'm very sorry. Equipment, again, very similar. Here's where things start getting, you know, unique to the game. You have jobs and you have skills. With jobs, and you get these as you go along. I'm not going to tell you how you unlock extra jobs, but you get to unlock jobs in this game, which allows you to basically share what your person can do. So, Therion is a thief, but he has a secondary job of a scholar, which gives him access to different weapons. If I wanted him to have access to, say, an axe and a bow, I may put out the hunter one, which would give us bonuses to different stats, and then we can unlock new attacks and stuff like that. And that's with every character. Every character gets a chance to have a secondary job. Then let's talk about skills. We have the ability to learn skills. We learn them by using job points. Okay, so for instance here, what is this? Apothecary. Do I want Tressa to learn this? I think I do. Attack all foes. Yeah, okay. So, with Tressa, we can have her learn the last stand skill, and we consume her job points. Job points are grabbed or acquired by fighting enemies. So, easy. There you go. We've learned the new skill. And okay, so with that, we also get support skills. So for instance, I've got these different thief ones. We have increase character speed by 50 by equipping it. We can equip up to 4 different ones. So all of these things, every single one of your characters, you can play the standard archetype that character would play, but then you can shift it to your play style. Okay, I think that's really about it so far. I mean, do you guys have any questions? I'll frame it for YouTube. We'll go out there. Do you have any questions about how this game... Okay, we're going to come down here to Therion. So we're going to come down to the Sunlands. Leave it to the cat. I love me a good atmospheric soundtrack. All right, you know, right? The Red Bluff soundtrack, which is the soundtrack that they have right there at the beginning when you spawn with Therion. I love that one the best. It's so perfect. So, all right, danger level 31. Give you guys an idea of how the enemies progress, because they do.
Time to teach you a lesson.
We also, in the new areas, we have different battle soundtracks. So, as you can see right here, we have cleric skills. We also have merchant skills. Every single one of these guys are weak against the wind damage. So we're going to go ahead and do that.
Out of my way.
Oh, and something else, didn't point this out. Up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you have the turn order. It is a turn order-based game. And then you have in the centers of the screen the order of the next turn. So what you do may actually affect what turn order you come out with. It's very similar to some of the stuff that they have in Final Fantasy X, where it is, you know, you attack with this one attack, and you get to attack sooner on your next round, or later, depending on maybe the intensity or whatever. And you can do things to speed yourself up. This is actually a really cool thing. So, alright, so we've got 2 enemies weak against ice, so we're going to use ice.
Ice.
Ta-da!
What is the logical course of action?
And then, I don't think I can actually kill out this one guy. So instead, we're going to attack these guys. And I'm just doing normal attacks right now.
What to do?
Alright, good. We can do this, though. Just doing normal attacks right now and building my boost for the next couple of rounds. And I'll show you why here in a bit, because trust me, it makes sense.
Out of my way.
It'll make sense. To use the ultimate abilities of your characters, you have to have a full boost, which means you have to have, I think, 3 total boost spheres. So, yes. Or underneath your enemies, it shows you their names. White means they're still at 50% or above health. Yellow means 50 or 25% to 50, and then red means 25% or under, 24% and under, whatever have you. And pretty much this is what we're going for. So anytime you break their defense, you also kind of like stun them. They can't attack. So we're going to, I guess at this point, I'm going to do as much damage as I can. Sandworm's going to die. And now, oh, these 2 guys come out of it. This sucks.
Here I go.
I don't want to. I want to show Therion's like ultimate skill. So you saw there we defended with Tressa. She actually bumped up earlier in the order for the next round. So there you go. Aber's Reckoning. This is, like I said, this is the ultimate. This is, each character has their ultimate that uses like max level, but you have to have max boost on them.
Time to steal the show.
So there you go.
And
that attacks all enemies on your screen. All right. Well, I hope that gave everybody an idea about Octopath. Once again, I'm not going to be streaming it on this channel just because RPGs are so weird to stream without it being like, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. But I do appreciate everybody coming out and sitting through this. I know that it's not the normal content that you see here, but I hope that once again you guys got a good idea about what this game is and kind of what it's about. If it's made up your mind whether you like it or you don't, then cool. I hope it does. I hope that you come away from this with a better understanding of, if you bought the game, you knew what you were getting, or you know what you're going to be getting into. So with that all aside, YouTube, I love you guys, and I will see you next time. As for the rest of you guys here on Twitch, I will see you in just a moment. We're going to switch out the games and jump over to Bloodstain. So, 1 second real quick. We're going to hit this button right here.